When we exited the forest, alarms set off in my mind. The city I'd lived in my whole life. It was gone! You've got to be kidding me. If I wasn't in Tsuki no Toshi, then where the hell was I? Hey, no talking! Come on, I don't want to bop you that much! Kinda. Maybe a punch or two. I just want to know how the heck you blocked my strike so easily! Your attack had a lot of power behind it, but it was kinda predictable. With the right movement and enough force, that's the result you get. Anyway, I'll play along for a bit. Where in the world are we? This clearly isn't my hometown. I mean, the buildings look more like they belong in some sort of classic samurai movie. Huh? What the heck is a movie? This is Harumaru. It's been here forever. Hikage, I thought I told you to silence him if he spoke again. Actually, you told me that I could, but you didn't tell me I had to. Must be tough being the subordinate of someone like that. Be quiet or I will silence you for good! This time, it didn't seem to be an idle threat. The girl had unsheathed her katana and was now resting the edge of the blade against my throat. I was already starting to regret having played a hero earlier. Hopefully, there would be someone with more common sense in this village. Several minutes later. I soon found myself confined within a small room, the stern-looking tsundere of a girl glaring down at me while the other girl, who was apparently called Narumi, seemed to have softened up a little. From what I had gathered during their conversations, they had called the village elder to oversee my questioning. What purpose did these thefts have? Or are you just some pervert who gets off snipping girls' undies? I ought to castrate you! I already told you, I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Not to mention, anything worn by you would probably smell sour. I couldn't see too well from the cell where they had put me, but I was almost certain I could hear Narumi laughing nearby. Tsuki no Dono, please calm down. You brought him in to learn the reason behind his presence in the forest, didn't you? That is correct, Elder-sama. I believe he was working together with the fox spirits to steal panties and other undergarments. Objection! What are you objecting to, young man? The evidence surrounding the defendant's accusation was fabricated. Narumi-san, would you please answer this question for the judge? Was the defendant, that is, myself, anywhere near those girls while you two were in pursuit of them? Hold it! Just who are you calling a judge here? Lower your voice or I will strike you down! Hey, Mio-san! Maybe the whole angry accusation thing isn't working. This guy clearly isn't a bandit. We could just ask him why he was up there in the woods. If he has a valid reason, then sure. If not, then he's clearly a panty thief, and we'll use him as a punching bag out in the yard. Finally, and here I thought this was about to become a turnabout case. I sighed deeply, partly amused by my own act despite the seriousness of the situation. Who would have ever thought mimicking characters from games and movies would end up getting me out of trouble? As long as I didn't become an ace prisoner, things would hopefully turn out for the better. A wise idea, Narumi-chan. How about you start by giving us your name? Gushiken. Gushiken Takahiro. So, what were you doing in the forest when these two were chasing the thieves? I'm not entirely sure myself. One moment I was praying at a shrine hidden inside the forest. Next thing I knew, some weird girl was talking to me. A girl? Yes, a girl with horns and a tail. I know it sounds weird, but I could have sworn I saw her before. I must have fainted. After that, I woke up somewhere in the forest. Tsuki no Dono, Narumi-chan. Do you recall the stories behind the shrine near our village? Forgive me, Elder-sama. I do not recall. I know it's a place of high spiritual energy, a sacred place, but I can't remember the details. Sorry, grandfather. That shrine belongs to Tsuyori, a powerful spirit that has been watching over our village for as long as anyone can remember. Unlike the fox spirits, we tend to avoid going too deep into the forest. I still think I could get rid of those pests once and for all if you would just let me go in and find their home. It's probably hidden in some damp cave or hill, or some run-down old house. Humans and spirits rarely mingle, even if they meet with good intentions. The fact that this lad says he saw a spirit means that there is a chance that he was for a reason. Not to mention, did you take a good look at him yet? He seems disorientated, and his clothes look foreign. He did seem to be talking gibberish earlier. He claimed to be from a city near here, but there's nothing like that around for miles. He was also talking about something called a movie, and he used some fighting techniques that I've never seen before. He's still a pervert! I'm not a pervert. It's perfectly natural for a guy my age to be curious about certain things. Besides, if you're talking about how the panties ended up on my face, I had nothing to do with it, tsundere tyrant. What did you just call me? I ought to smash you to pieces, you brat! Oh, wait, now that I think about it, those two foxes did look like they were just abandoning them. But, grandfather, what does this all mean? I can't be certain. However, I believe it is unlikely that he is working together with the fox spirits. Still, I have never heard of any human to come upon a spirit such as Tsundere. I dare say he might not even be of this world. Wait, are you trying to say I'm in a different world now? That would be the most logical explanation. In what world would that be considered logical? But I have an important tournament to participate in 2 weeks from now. Well, no one has ever experienced something like this before. We will have to think of how to deal with you, or if it is even possible to get you back to your own world. In the meantime, a night in the cell won't hurt. He did assault a village guard, and he resisted arrest. He could stay here until he rots for all I care, but I suspect the Elder will wish to have a talk with you soon. Hikage, I'm gonna clean myself off. I suggest you do the same. I would take offense for implying that I stink, but that was one hell of a run. Those fox spirits run fast. I would still like to know more about those techniques, Takahiro-san. If you do happen to stick around, I might want to go a few rounds with you. It's not like I'll be going anywhere for the time being. It's only for a few hours while we discuss what to do with you. A person such as yourself would end up causing quite the commotion among the villagers, so it is necessary to convince them that you mean them no harm before we release you. And that was how I found myself stuck in a jail cell, while the people responsible for my situation left to deal with personal errands. This sucks. As if being sent to a different world wasn't bad enough, I'm stuck in jail with my only company being a pair of beautiful, magnificent, majestic fox sisters, you lucky boy. A pair of beautiful... Wait a second.
Yahaha! Yahoo! Hi there, Panty Boy!
A familiar face appeared at the top of my cell, a blonde girl with golden eyes. As I watched, she flipped over and landed in front of the cell, waving her hands at me. From the side of the cell, another girl appeared, a wry grin on her face. Ah, it's the panty thieves! If you're here to reclaim your hostages, they're already back where they belong.
Nope! We saw the guards go into the baths and sweat the maid in silk again! Look!
With that, she pulled out a pair of lacy silken underwear from her sleeve and stretched it out with her thumbs, showing off her panty prize to me. You came all the way back here to snatch their underwear again? And I'm not sure the Tsundere Tyrant fits that label. The cutie with a katana? You would be surprised. I happen to believe that she is as innocent as one can be. She seems far too uptight to let any man touch her. As for returning to the village, we have a debt to settle. I smiled weakly as I wondered what the fox meant by debt. I'm not sure what this debt of yours might be, but I think you better leave before those two return. You don't seem to be on friendly terms with the samurai girls.
Wait, if he doesn't know about it, can we just leave, Ane-sama?
Maiko! That is not how we do things. Young man, your actions allowed us to escape our earlier predicament without harm. This places us in your debt, for which we are now repaying you. Maiko, do the magic!
Okay!
The younger girl walked forward and placed her hands upon the locked door of the cell. She began mumbling something that I couldn't even begin to understand, and her hands began glowing brightly. Different worlds, girls wielding weapons, and now fox girls using magic? Next on the list, I'm gonna find a talkative magical sword and end up destined to save the world. That said, I was curious to see what this magic would do to the lock keeping me imprisoned. The glow flared for a moment before quickly fading. There was a hiss, and then a sizzle, as the lock dripped to the floor in a mess of melted metal. Well done, Mayako-chan. You did very well. Relax for now, alright? I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be the most surprised about. The fact that a girl just melted a steel lock, or that I'm starting to accept that this is normal. This level of magic is extraordinary. Mayako-chan is quite gifted. But, as I said, we are here to settle our debt. If you'd like, we can escort you back to the forest where we first encountered you. I do, however, suggest that you decide quickly. The guards do not bathe for long. I should know. I have observed them for a while. Well, I don't plan on sticking around, so I'll gladly accompany the two of you out of here. Maybe I'll find a way back to my home. Lead the way, Peeping Tammy. Machiko. Sakudaro Machiko. Not Tammy. Takahito, but I suggest we keep the introductions for later. Very well, then. Takakun, follow... As I was stepping out of the cell, the sound of a familiar voice boomed in the distance. Thieves! Crafty, foxy kleptomaniacs! I'll skin you alive! I think that's our cue to get out of here. And with that, the three of us darted out of the prison.